Today, I will be taking you through our SDF registration process on the pulse.lgseta.org.za system. This is the new MIS system in order for you to implement and update your WSP and ATR information and submit it for the year 2025/2026. I am on a test environment, and this is your landing page that you would typically see. If you do have login details, you will insert your username over there and your password on the password space provided. If you forget your password, you will click on Forget Your Password, and that will take you to a different screen in which you insert your email address as a reference and submit. So if I insert my email address and I submit, it will send me an email with a link to reset my password. I'm going to take you through the actual registration process of an SDF profile if it is a new user that needs to be registered on the system. You've got a Create New Account button down at the bottom. If you click on that button, it will take you to the registration page where you as an SDF can register to get access to the environment. It is important to note that once you've completed your new account registration, the SETA individuals would need to first approve your access. You will receive an email notification to say your access has been approved, and your next step would be your username and password that would be created and linking yourself to the different organizations that you would need to create WSPs for. So as I clicked on Next under Role, you will see the new account registration process. You would add your title, the relevant title, our first name, middle name is not compulsory, last name needs to be in. If I try, and the system will authenticate, if I try and click on Next to the next page, the system will flag every single required field on the system. If you do have a South African ID, you'd add the SA ID number field. If you try and add any form of alphanumeric numbers or incorrect ID lengths, the system will keep it. And once you try and submit, it's going to bring back an error that the ID number is not valid. For training purposes, I'm going to add training as an ID number, but I'm going to add it as a birth certificate number, just for training purposes. You'd add your initials, your date of birth. You can type it in as such, or you can then go and look at the dates of birth on the system over here and scroll up to the relevant year, the relevant month, and the day. Your citizen status would need to be completed. It is a drop-down. Your equity status is also a drop-down. Nationality is also compulsory. And your home language. Disability function, and as I complete each of the fields, you will see the required field red message disappears as you are completing the required fields. Disability of none, our gender, our learning status or education status, and our professional status specific to the SDF. Master not applicable, practitioner or technician. If it isn't applicable to you as such, you'd select not applicable. If one of them is applicable to your profile, you would then select it. Now that we can see no error messages on the page, you will click the Next button. Previous button will take you back to the Roles section where you saw the ticked SDF section, which is that tab on top left. Next will take you to this tab, which is next to the Personal Details tab. If I click on Next, we need to complete our telephone numbers and our relevant information. Again, if I try and register, all the relevant information that is compulsory needs to be completed, and you are required to complete that before you may continue. If I add a telephone number as such, it's still going to make it invalid because it is looking for a valid telephone number length. Same as a cell phone number, for example. I've now completed, so Google might complete specific items. I might want to add a different number in here and it will validate it. Going to add my email address, so I can do a specific email address in here. You will see the telephone number is invalid until there is a 10-digit telephone number. I've added my email address in here. It is critical that you ensure your email address is correct. All system communication will use your email address to trigger notifications. I've now added my physical address in here. It's auto-populated. I'm going to add a test line 2 just for training purposes. Line 3 is not compulsory as it's not relevant in certain instances. Perhaps an office block would be added in terms of your line 1 and then the office number and then the street address. But line 3, as you can see, is not compulsory. Our postal code is quite critical. If I type in a postal code, it will bring back the specific code that I've typed in. If I want to search throughout the list, I can just click on the field and have the scroll button over here. Okay, I'm going to select a specific OFO code. You will immediately see my city populates, my district populates, and my urban rural area populates. This is relevant to the specific postal code. If I change it to a different postal code, for example, we might want to look at 200 Johannesburg. I update the postal code, the city will automatically update, my district will update, and my urban rural breakdown will update. Hence the reason why those blocks are grey. With regards to our postal address section, you as a user have got an option to say my postal address is the same as my physical address. If that is the case, you would tick this little box and it will automatically populate the fields that were captured on the physical address. If it is different, you would leave it as unchecked or unticked, and you would capture your required fields across the different lines as we did with the physical address. Okay, in this training instance, I'm going to tick it so that you can see that all the information has been populated. Okay, and the postal address is also correct and populating your urban-rural breakdown. If I'm now happy with my information and all my required fields are completed, I can now click on register. The system will run a validation and will tell me whether the ID number has been duplicated. You would not be able to continue, which means you are an existing user on the system. And we would just require your username and password. If you are not an existing person and you're a new record, you will get confirmation like this with a tick that says your record has been successfully registered. At this point, you would not be able to log in as yet. The SDF user would receive an email to say a person has been registered. Can you go and approve or reject the person record in order to create a username and password? If I click OK, and I log in as a SDF administrator to then create the specific or approve the specific SDF or person record, I'm going to log into the environment, and you will then, as a SDF user, go into the system section, and under the user, you will see the list of all the users awaiting approval, and you would then need to go and approve those users. I think just in terms of this list specifically, you will see all the active users. The quicker way in which to do this, I can go and click on my dashboard again. And because this is test information, you will see quite a lot of dashboards populating with specific numbers. But as a SDF user, I would go to the bottom and say there's a new SDF application awaiting review. If I click on that specific record, it will take me to the menu items that I was just on with the approval request for that specific user. If we look at this specific user that will come up, you will also see that you can filter. As a SDF user, you can filter the approvals statuses or rejected statuses, and the SDF user has got the pending statuses as well. So here is our user. It was Mickey Mouse with my test@test.org.za. I can then go and approve or reject the specific user. There you will have an approve or reject item. With that specific item, you are then able to, as an SDF, log in. If I go ahead and approve the specific SDF, an email will go out to say the person record has been approved. As an SDF, I'm going to log out now. I've received my login details that the SETA has approved me for. I'm going to log in. You will see our login page as an SDF is different to the SETA administrator login. So I'm going to add my username and my password, and I'm going to click on sign in order for me to get into the specific system. You will be met with your WSP ATR portal, where you will have the list of approved and pending or rejected levy numbers that your profile contains. If you are a new user, you would have no list. I, as a user, can also filter on the financial year, and I can then go and see my companies for that specific financial year. With this list, I can also see who am I approved for and who I am pending or rejected for. Any pending or rejected companies, your levy number or SDL column would not be a link. I cannot access the ones that are either pending or rejected. However, my SDL numbers that are approved are automatically a link in which I can then go into the system and into that specific company's details. If I need to delink myself as an SDF for a specific company, I can go ahead and click my delink action button over here, and it will remove that company from the SDF's profile. If I need to add additional companies to my profile, on the right-hand side, we have a link organization to my profile. I click on link organization to my profile as a user. It will then take me to the screen where I'd select my L number or SDL number, what my role is, and I would need to upload my ID copy as well as my SDF letter in order for the SETA to evaluate and approve or reject my application. I can go and type in my L number, and I'm using test companies in this instance, but it will bring up the information that the SETA has for that specific company at the bottom to ensure that that is the correct company that you are linking yourself to. I can then also go and select the role. Am I the primary or secondary SDF for this company? And then upload my ID copy. In this instance, I'm a primary SDF. I'm going to upload my ID copy, and I'm going to select a test form or folder. I simply click on choose file, look for the document that I need, select it, click on open, and the document then appears. If I've uploaded the incorrect document, you simply choose a different file, go and select it and override it with the old file. Now that I'm ready and I've completed all my information, I can now go and link myself with the little link button on the left bottom side of the screen. If it is successful, the system will tell me I've successfully linked myself to this organization. If there is something wrong, you will be met with a screen that has a cross, and it would be unsuccessful for a specific reason. Whatever that reason would then be displayed on the dial box over here. If I click OK, you will now see my company has been linked to my profile as a primary SDF, but it is on pending status. Hence the reason I cannot access the company details at this point. If I've linked myself in error to a specific company, I can go and delink myself by clicking on the delink icon, and the company will then be removed from my profile. I clicked on delink to that specific record, it will refresh my page and remove that specific company from my specific page. That will also ensure you keep your organizations updated and accurate for that specific period of time.